Hi, you're probably wondering why I'm sitting in front of this artwork instead of doing something like continuing the household campaign or restarting up my Forbidden Lands solo campaign. And I know people are really desperate to see those things starting, but I have actual paid work commission for this game behind me, Terminal State, which, as you can read just here, is a near-future corporate dystopia RPG. So it's not quite cyberpunk. It doesn't use that term cyberpunk because cyberpunk means a lot of things to a lot of people, and generally it's a sort of retro near-future looking at the future from an 80s lens. This absolutely doesn't do that. It looks at the near future from a 2025 starting point. And so we have all sorts of interesting things like drones, and hacking feels more like hacking today rather than hacking in the 80s. There's augmented reality. There's all sorts of stuff. There's still a lot of corporations, but it does, again, it looks at things from today and kind of extrapolates forward from here. It takes place in the year 2089. So it is far enough in the future that it does have kind of cool things like cybernetics, augments, hacking, like I said, drones, cool gear, stuff like that. The system is Year Zero engine, but it's using the step dice system, which you'll be familiar with if you've watched the Twilight 2000 content on the channel. It's kind of like a mix between Twilight 2000 and Blade Runner when it comes to how crunchy it is. Anyway, I'm going to be writing for this. I'm going to be writing the solo rules for this, and as a result, I need to be playing this game before, or at least while I'm also writing the solo rules, because I don't like to write content for an existing game that changes the game without actually having taken part in the game as it was written. So I need to experience this game as written, as designed, so that when I write the solo rules and people are playing a solo game of this game, it's still going to feel like they're playing the same game and not something different, maybe just in the same world. Now, I have spoken to the players of the Household campaign. They reluctantly agreed to do this because, frankly, they're having a lot of fun with Household, as am I. But it needs to happen, and we're going to be taking a break for about 5 weeks or so, maybe actually a bit longer before we come back. This Terminal State game is going to run through to the beginning of July, and the plan is if I can get Terminal State finished by then we will be coming back to Household at the beginning of August. Anyway, it's going to be a short break from Household. As soon as it's done, we'll be returning to Chapter 3 of Household and taking on from where we left off. In terms of what we're going to be playing exactly, just wanted to talk about that very quickly as well, because while this game takes place from today's perspective, there was some concern from the players that might not be very fun. It might be too close to things that people are a bit unhappy with today. So we kind of talked about this in Discord and have agreed basically on not running the default setting, but instead looking at running something sci-fi, nearish future dystopia. So I've pitched a number of slightly more fantastical sort of sci-fi-y settings to the players with a little scenario hook attached to each one, and they all voted on it, and one basically they were all really keen to play, so that's one we're going to be running with. But I don't want to go into too many details about that because I haven't finished world building myself on what that means exactly. So there's going to be a lot of action, there's going to be a lot of exploration, there's going to be a lot of weird stuff happening in this kind of weird city, and it should be plenty of content to take us through 4-ish sessions for this scenario. We're going to be running character creation on Monday, this coming Monday. It's probably not going to be recorded. Once we're done with that, we're going to have characters created and we'll be ready to go in 2 weeks' time with the first session for this scenario. Anyway, I'm really excited about this scenario. The players have come around and are excited about it as well. Hopefully you're excited. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And otherwise, I'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time for session 1.